Hey and welcome back to my channel. My name's Emma Cownley and today I'm going to be running through 4 of the reasons you haven't started a blog and why they're actually not a problem in the slightest. We're talking about misconceptions that a lot of people have when it comes to blogging, and from my own insider perspective I'm going to tell you just how to smash through them, because they're not an issue. Do not let them get in the way of you starting your blog. So the first thing that I always hear when I talk about blogging to people is that they say, I don't have the time to write a post that long. It'll take me weeks. We're not talking about writing and uploading Tolstoy here. I've looked into research from last year that came from bloggers directly, and they said that they write posts that are usually between 500 and 1,000 words. The impact really comes from frequency. The more frequently you add content to your blog, the better the results you will start to see. So it's not really about how long the post is. You don't have to write something that's 2,000 words. It's good if you do. Don't get me wrong, it's really good if you do. But depending on who your customer and your readership is, may not be appropriate at all. So in actual fact, it might be counterproductive to write something that long. Really, you need to 100% know your reader and your customer before you start looking at word counts. It might be a case of frequency is better than length. Who knows? You need to know who you're writing for, and if you're not writing for a customer whose demographic and their details you already have, it's about researching your readership by looking at the other blogs that they read and the kinds of posts that they're doing. Are they doing really long posts? Are they doing short posts? You can use something like that to gauge what you should be doing on your personal blog. So to summarise, length is really not an issue. It's really more about what suits your readership and the frequency that you are posting. 2, you need to have a designer to do images for your blog. That is not true. I'm definitely not a designer, and even though I know designers, I don't ask them to do work for me on my blog that I do for my business, not at all. You can use free websites like Canva, for example, to create images for your blog. Really, really easy, really, really quick, and you can find free stock images as well on various websites. Just make sure that you are looking at the Creative Commons license and making sure that it is okay to use. You can't just do a Google search and steal an image from the internet. It doesn't really work like that. So just make sure that you're using an image that is okay to use. The Creative Commons is for commercial purposes or whatever. The same research that I checked out for 2017 on blogging showed that the more multimedia elements were in the post, such as videos and images, the better they perform. So load that shit up with images, go for it. They're quick, they're easy, and you don't need a designer to do them for you. Number 3, thinking of topics to write about is hard. How are you gonna know? Well, you just run out of ideas after post 1 and then you'll have to give up because there's nothing else to write about. Lies, lies, lies. Definitely not true. When you start to do research for your content plan, because I know you're going to be using a content plan, because everybody should be, you're going to come up with a ton of ideas. Once you start going to the places that your reader typically goes to, looking into, for example, your product range, or the keywords that are being searched, or you look at seasonality, you will find a ton of stuff. I promise you that. And after that, it's just a case of structuring it into a really nice content plan so that you can stay frequent and regular and consistent with your posts. And the keywords will help you rank well in organic search as well. So it all feeds back into each other nicely, contributing to the ultimate success of your blog. So reason number 3, you're not going to be able to find anything to write about. Not true. I also have a couple of blog posts on where to find inspiration just in your daily life, so I'll pop a link to that below and you can check that out as well, because that is full of really handy tips on where you can pick up inspiration just in your day-to-day life. And when you're feeling a bit low, you can nip into that inspiration stash and get stuck in and find a wealth of ideas ready and waiting for you to use. 4th and final reason for not to blog is that you don't have time. You don't have time to sit down every week and write that post. Wouldn't it be great if you did have time? Imagine all the things you could do. bull. I'm calling bull on that one, you guys. I write blog posts for a plethora of other companies and I still manage to write my own posts. This is because I use a content plan and I am super smart and efficient about the way that I plan my time. So let me tell you how it's done, because it really is more simple than you think it is. Whenever I have a spare 5 minutes, let's say I'm on the train commuting to a client office, or perhaps I've got up in the morning, I've got my morning coffee and I've got maybe half hour to kill before I go out somewhere, I will sit down and I will go to my content plan, pick out the ideas, put them in a draft post on my blog, and I will flesh out the skeleton or the structure of a couple of posts. I'll just make sure that they're in there, they're scheduled, I've got all my keywords and all my subtitles and my metadata in there, maybe I'll whip up a quick image and I'll do a couple of them in succession. Then whenever I have a spare few minutes, I'm going to nip back in, add a little bit more to it, add a little bit more and a bit more and a bit more. Before you know it, you've got a nice healthy backlog of posts. They're all scheduled, ready to push live to the deadline, so that you don't have to worry about it, you don't have to go back on every week and set it live. It's done it all for you, and it's become a very manageable task. You just do it in little snatches and snippets wherever you can. You go back in, add a bit more, add a bit more, add a bit more, and that is what's going to keep you ticking over, making sure you have a healthy backlog. Do not let it get to the point where it's the day that you're supposed to have a post go live and you've got nothing and you're quickly scrabbling to type it out. Because if you find yourself in that situation, you may be tempted to say, oh well, it's just this 1 week, I'll let it slide, and then before you know it, you've let it slide, let it slide, let it slide, and you've got no blog anymore. One of the main things that this research I turned up revealed was that over time the frequency of blog posts went down. It took a real nasty nosedive, which is super counterproductive, because as we found out, the more frequently you post, the better your results are, the stronger your readership is. They know when your content is coming, they know you're reliable, they know what the topic is going to be, and they know that they're going to enjoy it because it's super relevant to them. So get yourself a backlog of posts and just every now and then find the time to whip them up. You will have a spare 5 minutes here and there, so use it wisely. And that's it. 4 top reasons for not starting a blog, completely debunked, right in your face. If you've got any questions about anything that I've raised here, you can drop a comment in the box below and I will happily answer it for you. I'll also include a lot of juicy, sexy links and info in the description box for you, so that you can go and do some further reading, get your inspiration, find out how to do a content plan, all of that good stuff that I talked about. I'll be including it for you below because I've written about it a shit ton. It's all there for you. Done and dusted. All you have to do is read it and do it. Easy. If you've got any questions that you'd like to ask me about anything else, or a video that you would like me to make, you can call me out in the box below or find me on Twitter at @EJCownley, and I will happily make a video for you and answer your question. Unless you're asking me to make a video that is really ropey and dodgy, in which case I'm probably not going to make that video for you. Soz. Until then, catch you next week, take care, over and out.